Over the last 6 years, I have received a profound education. But it's too bad I had to become an alcoholic to get it. In 2015, I was 34 years old, and things were going very well. I had graduated from West Point, I had served 2 combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, gone to Stanford Business School, and I was running a big company. By 2018, I was completely broken. I found myself lying on the ground in a hotel room in Dallas, holding a half-empty bottle of Maker's Mark and trying to decide if that was going to be my last day. Over the 30 days after that, and the 6 years since, I have received an educational curriculum that is completely unfamiliar to anything that I studied in high school, college, or graduate school. Far beyond changing my life and saving my life, this education fundamentally changed who I am as a person. So what is this education? The foundation of a solid recovery program gives you a set of tools and skills to navigate life's complex obstacles. It helps you human better. It helps improve the relationship that you have with yourself, with your loved ones, and with the world around you. These are a few components of the toolkit, and we're going to talk about each one of these. The first one is cognitive behavioral therapy. I look at this as the wrench when we need to make adjustments in our thinking. And so, when I was 8 years old, my dad had a quote, and it sat on the wall in his office, and it said, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." You don't do things right once in a while, you do them right all the time. There is no second place. Second place is the first loser. I was 8 years old, and that became my mantra for life. And for a long time, this mantra served me very well. It drove me to success. It drove me to always want to be the best, but it's an unreasonable standard. And so I found myself battling with a core belief. And this core belief was, I'm not good enough. And when we have a negative core belief like I'm not good enough, what happens is it starts to shade how we interpret everything that happens in the world. And so our brain starts to make wrong decisions. Think about your own life. What's the negative core belief that you walk around with day to day? I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I'll never be X. In a cognitive behavioral therapy curriculum, what we start to learn is how to recognize when our brain is interpreting things incorrectly, and we make adjustments. But sometimes a wrench isn't enough. Sometimes the house is on fire. And that's when we need another skill. Because if you tell this guy that he needs to start adjusting his thinking, he's going to tell you that I can't do that, my house is on fire. And so dialectical behavior therapy provides us the tools and skills like a fire extinguisher to be able to put out the flame. You know, it was designed as a curriculum for people who experience very intense and strong emotions on a frequent basis. But don't we all experience intense emotions sometimes? And wouldn't it be nice to have a set of tools that we can use when this happens, like battle drills in the military, where you don't have to think about it, you just execute? That's DBT. The next one is mindfulness. I know what everyone's going to say. I can't meditate. I can't turn my brain off. I hear it every day. Fortunately, turning your brain off isn't mindfulness, that's mindlessness. In mindfulness, what we're trying to learn is how to focus, in many cases, on the object of meditation, which may be your breath, but it may be something else. See, we live in a world of notifications, social media, and multitasking. And when we think about what makes us successful in life, it's not the ability to multitask, but it's the ability to focus and accomplish a task when we need to. Mindfulness is like a broom. It's our daily practice. We keep the floor clean. We keep our heads together. Mindfulness is the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. How often do we try to escape the present moment? We feel sad about the past, we get depressed, we feel worried about the future, we get anxiety, we go to shopping, we go to drugs, we go to alcohol, anything to escape. I just have to take the edge off of today. I just need one drink. The next piece of the curriculum is relationships. We have a saying in addiction that says, the opposite of addiction is connection. The opposite of poor mental health is connection. These are the interlocking gears that, when working well, help both people within a relationship. For better or worse, we're not going through this life alone. We have coworkers, we have family, we have friends, and our relationships with them are dependent upon understanding how to interact with people, yet we're never formally trained in it. We just kind of go with what our examples have been, and what if those examples weren't great? Talking about relationships, we start to learn how to set boundaries, express emotions, and manage difficult conversations. The last one is the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. In life, many of us have mentors. I've always had mentors. And within a mentor relationship, the conversation often goes like this: how you doing? Good. What about when it's not good? See, the relationship that we have with a sponsor within the context of Alcoholics Anonymous is someone that we discuss our character flaws with, our fears, our worries. And they don't want to hear it's good. They want to hear what's wrong. So think about in your life who that person that you might be able to be vulnerable with, that you can talk about the things that really lay heavy on your heart. Altogether, here's the toolkit. Combined, it gives us a set of skills to deal with and navigate life's complex obstacles. Right now, we have a problem. Over 32% of people have reported signs of depression or anxiety during their office doctor's visits. But it gets worse. Among people 18 to 22, that number goes up to almost half. We need to do something, and we need to integrate more skills and tools to start to deal with this in our lives. I see a future where social workers, clinicians, and therapists are embedded within school systems, teaching these skills of cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, and mindfulness. I see a future where the role of a therapist is completely changed. And it's no longer someone that we go to for help when we're broken, but instead it's a trainer to help our mental health. My sobriety and my mental health are fragile. They depend upon the daily maintenance of my mental health and my spiritual condition. I take it one day at a time. I see a future where everyone has access to the education of self, where we can show up as our best versions, and a future where you don't have to be an alcoholic to get it.